So let me stay this way. Jesus, there's freedom in your name. You break every chain, oh Lord. 'Cause you are above every name, Jesus. Always set me free.
All right, welcome to the Warrior's Way on UCAN Studios. My warrior this week is Theresa. Say good morning, Theresa.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
All right, we're going to get to her in a minute. Again, we're at UCAN Studios. If you've not checked out our website, go to spiritualwarfareunit.com, and in the right corner, you're going to see these three little lines. Click on those, hit struggling. We're going to be adding Catholic Charities to our list of people in case you're struggling or if you know someone that's struggling. So if they're looking for food or clothes or baby formula or whatever, you go on those lists, you click, you give them a call, and then if you know someone who is struggling, you can go there and you can be the person that brought them the good news and be part of our spiritual warfare unit helping others. All right. So Theresa Hurley is from Catholic Charities and from Genesee County. And how long have you been working with them?
I have been with Catholic Charities for just over 2 years.
Okay. So kind of a newbie, really.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Now, so you didn't work with them before?
No, I have not. No,
Goody.
No.
All right. So we want to get your background. So what we do here is we find out who you are, where you're from, where you came from,
All right.
why, what you're doing, and what you're doing next. So where were you born from?
Well, I actually was born in Detroit.
Really?
Yeah. And then my dad and my mom were brought up to the Flint area. My dad's some high school friends bought a beer distributor, and they put my dad to work. So,
Okay, so he moved from Detroit to Flint
yes,
to do beer.
Yeah, he's
Outstanding.
I know, right? So
Good
and they ended
Catholic
up-
job.
It is good Irish Catholic job.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, and then he retired there after 20 some years, and
All right, so what year was that when he moved up here?
it would have been 1976. So I was
bicentennial.
just 7 years old. Yeah.
Okay. So
I just gave my age away, so you guys are all good.
I don't do math. That's complex, and you got to add and
Yeah, right.
carry the two. It's like 26. So yeah, about 26 now. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. All right. So what did your mom do? Was she?
My mom was home. She's actually an MS patient, so she was unable to work.
Oh wow. Okay. Was it diagnosed like early on?
Yes, right
Okay.
after my sister was born. So she's had it for over 50 years.
Wow. Actually, congratulations. She
yeah.
had it for over 50 years, right?
Yeah.
That's actually pretty awesome.
It's pretty amazing. Very
Yeah.
rare.
And functional.
Yes,
Wow.
for the most part. I mean, she's in a wheelchair, but she's
Well,
still,
how old is she now, though?
my mom goes, you're going to do that, right? She's 75.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to hit that number, so that's phenomenal, right?
Yeah.
All right. So did they grow up in Michigan?
My mom and dad are both from Detroit. My
Okay.
dad was actually, he did his time in the service, and then he came home and he went into the seminary. And then
All right. Which branch?
he was an Army guy.
Oh, their food is so bad.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's
So-
terrible. I'd have gone in the seminary after eating that
Yeah,
food
he
too.
went to the seminary, and then he was real close to signing the papers, as they say, but that didn't happen, obviously. Otherwise,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be here.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's one of those rules things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thank God for that, right?
Yeah. And then
All right. So then he went into beer distribution.
he did. Yeah, he had his degree to go into teaching, and his buddies brought him in to run the warehouse for him. So.
I would have loved to have got that story. So listen, you can be a pastor, or you can sell beer. Right? And and for an Irish person, that's a tough call. Being an Irish person, Walsh and O'Reilly. That's my.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, very
See,
very
got the Walsh
Irish
there too.
Oh yeah, all the way back to the Bowman 1100s. I'm very much a nerd.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's going to be my story here in a minute. You'll love it even more.
All right, so you came to Flint. Where did you go to school at?
Well, originally, when we moved up here, we lived in the Beecher area.
Ooh,
and,
so did I.
we went
Very nice, isn't it?
I know, right?
Don't you love your councilman?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not anymore. So we lived there for a couple years, and then we moved out in the country. So I moved out towards Otisville.
Oh wow! So that is the
it's out in the sticks.
Yeah. All right. So how long was the transition between Beecher to Otisville? Was it quickly?
We were here 2 years, and we
okay.
had started at school at St. Mary's in Mount Morris, and then
Of course.
finished there, and then went on to Powers.
Okay. And that's 8th and the 9th grade, right?
The ninth.
So,
grade.
is there any like developmental things as you're growing up from being 7 to like, because you got your friends, you're in that tweeny.
Yeah.
Kinda,
So
anything happen that is like helped make you who you are?
Oh, I think so. First of all, going through all Catholic school is one thing, right? But
Is it?
Besides that, I would say that, growing up in the country and my mom not always feeling good, I had an older brother and a younger sister, and the three of us were like the Three Musketeers. So we went everywhere together. And although we had a pool there, all of our friends lived about 8 miles away. And this is something you'd never see today, right?
Yeah.
We would just get on our bikes and ride into town, into Mount Morris. And, I just still to this day, I'm like, do you want us to write a note or anything in our pocket? No, you'll be fine. And it's just, and that was just the way,
like
the
when
way of the world.
when I tell my kids who have kids, like, yeah, we just like, you knew to come home when the lights come on.
Right.
Like everybody knew.
Yeah.
And they're like looking at me like I'm crazy. And I'm looking at them like you're crazy. Like you're way too stressed out about this. You have to every second of every day, you have to know everything. And I'm like, you don't. You really don't.
Yeah, but it is so terrifying. I mean, now
the thing that's got me nervous is like being an old man. And then they're like, I GPS'd your phone, and you're trying to sneak.
And they know where you are.
You said that you were out, but you clearly were not. What you have to say, and at 70, I'm going to be like, look, I don't actually care what you think right now. You get caught and you get busted, and you're looking at your daughter, and she's like, Well,
that's better than ours. Ours show up where we are because they know it's a free meal. They'll get there. They're like, oh, I knew you were here. I tracked you. What's for dinner? I'm like, I guess we're buying.
You're like, listen, how do you shut that part off?
That's what I said.
How did you do? Like, I'm at the point, I'm the old guy now. When my daughter tells me something, I'm like, here.
Yeah.
Do it.
Exactly.
Like, I want that.
Like,
Make
show
that
me how that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, you're going to Catholic school. So, you grew up pretty just normal childhood.
Just normal. Like, we had a pond in our front yard, and we would play in the pond. And I remember coming out with leeches attached to me.
I was just about to ask.
Yeah. And I was the only one. And, if my sister and my brother, God rest his soul, was here, they would laugh at and say everything always happened to Theresa. It was like I was the only one that came out with leeches, not them.
Yeah.
Me.
I had the same thing. We had a creek, and I came out with leeches. And my sister's like, those things sense evil, right? And I was like, oh, well, good to know.
That's disturbing.
Now that we got that out of the way.
I guess
But she was 12 and thought she was hilarious, and I was 8.
Oh, yeah. Those are some good times, right?
Yeah, right. Those older sisters. Yeah, they can be
and
evil.
the younger ones.
Yeah. So, all right. So you're going into high school. So you were a shy person, you outgoing person?
No, I was always outgoing, I think.
Yeah. Tomboyish.
Yeah, I was a sports girl. What
was your sports?
In grade school, I was basketball, softball. Mm-hmm. When I got into high school, I played basketball for 1 year, and then I went actually into track where I threw shot put and disc.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Anything of worth to report there?
Yeah, I was second in the state 2 years in a row.
I could see a little bit of a side smile there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about my nerdery with winning championship in soccer.
Oh, well, that's good.
I was a high-level nerd, yeah.
And the other highlight of that would be that I got hit in the mouth in the chin with a disc.
Okay.
That was being thrown. That was thrown. So it was
somebody chucked a disc at your face.
No, not intentionally. They let it go a little too late, and the whole crew. If you ever
wait a minute, you can't just say I got hit in the face with something without setting that. Okay, so they're in the circle.
They're in the circle, and there was a long line. So it was a.
So where are you?
It's a county meet, and I was like number 10 in line.
So you're way back.
Yes. So they have, if you'll look at them, if you ever see like shot put and disc, especially disc, there's usually a fence around the disc. In this particular case, they did not have one, but we were behind. What should have been behind them, but when she let it go too late, and I heard a heads up, which is the worst thing you could say to anybody. You should have just said jump, down.
Do what?
Yeah. So I looked, and I got clipped right in the jaw, just below my teeth.
Oh, lucky you!
Very lucky, and just above my neck, because I learned the next day that there's been 2 accidents that same year where somebody had their teeth knocked out, and the other person died because they got hit in the throat with a disc, which it obviously would kill you. Yeah, so that was my jaw just ended up behind my ears. So
that's all. So that was just, and you were how old when that happened?
Oh, I was 16.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of pain.
You think? You think?
For sure.
Like girls, like I had girls, like they would not take that well. Like how did you? Just walked it off like, I broke my jaw. So.
I collapsed but I couldn't talk because my ears, my jaw.
Yeah, no. I'm not talking about that, but like clearly you were in pain. I'm talking about like how did you mentally handle like 16 and your jaw?
I actually was fine.
So you walked it off. You're like, whatever.
I pulled my jaw out. We went to the hospital. And then the next day I was throwing again.
The next day? Mm-hmm. Wired and all that?
No, they didn't have to wire it. It's between I don't even know what they call that, but all the cartilage between your upper jaw and your lower jaw are gone. So I was very fortunate.
Wow. And so the next day you're like, I just walked it off.
Well, I was going towards States and I wasn't going to let that stop me.
Well, yeah, because, I just got hit in the face with a disc.
And it hurt, yeah. And of course, my brother and my sister just thought that was the funniest thing.
Of course. I'm trying not to, that's why you keep seeing me smile. I'm like, I can't say that joke. I can't say that joke. But it's like, you just.
It was. It just dropped me.
Like a sack of potatoes, right? And then you can't say it because being your sibling, I would want to rag on you. And then you're like, wow, she's really hurt. Like,
yeah.
And then after you get better, it's like, dude, you just got hit in the face with a disc.
It was funny because my dad was there. He had just gotten there, and the coach was like, calling my dad over, and he's like, "You're gonna have to take her to the hospital." And he goes, he calls me Tess. He says, "Tess, are you okay?" And I said, "Dad, it really hurts. I can hardly talk." He goes, "She'll be fine." And I'm like. And the coach is like, "No, you need to take her to the hospital." So, those are the good old days, right?
Yeah,
just
right.
Rub a little dirt on it, you'll be fine.
Yeah. When we go to funny stories, I got one there. Just remind me. It's my dad's story. Just remember the word arrow.
Okay.
And we'll get back to it. All right. So your high school years, you're going up and you're doing that. So you graduated when then?
1987.
1987. All right, yeah. Just food for thought. Who was top of the charts back then with music? You girls and your music.
I don't know.
Was that Madonna-ish?
It could have been, probably.
Late 80s?
And I was like an expose.
Normally, like my sister would be like, "Oh, it was this one," and it depends on which one. Pop charts, top 40, or and I'm like, I just wanted a song.
Probably even Prince at that time.
Ooh, right.
Honestly.
See? All right. Purple. All right.
Yeah.
All right, so you graduated in 1987. Did you go directly to college after that?
I did not. I decided to take the first semester off, and I got a full-time job. I worked at a group home for the developmentally disabled.
No kidding.
I did that for what would have been the equivalent of a semester.
And what did you think of that?
I loved it.
Tell me why.
I think when you can, I've always been kind of that nurturing person. And I think when you can work with people that have been dealt a hand less fortunate than yours, it just makes you appreciate, one, who you are, what gifts you've been given. But two, I think we all have a responsibility to take care of each other. So it's always been like that.
That is a perfect spot to take a break. If you've not checked out Catholic Charities, their website is ccsgc.org. CC, Catholic Charities. Services, Genesee County, ccsgc.org. You can check them out on the break. And if you haven't gone to spiritualwarfareunit.com to check out to help out other people, please do that now. We will be right back. Taking a quick break from our podcast, I wanted to let you know about our life application program that we have for churches and nonprofits in the area that are trying to find programming that they can use in case the corona shuts you down and you're not able to get in. You go to spiritualwarfareunit.com, you click on our episodes, and you can check out our programs for as little as $29.99 a month to make sure that we're still getting the word out to those people that need it. Now, back to the program. All right, welcome back to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Theresa Hurley from Catholic Charities. Again, your local charity website is CCSGC. So tell everybody what that is. Catholic Charities.
Shiawassee, Genesee counties. So we serve both Shiawassee and Genesee counties.
Phew, that's a lot of words.
I know it is. That's why it's CCSGC.
CCSGC.org. All right. So people can go to that website if they're looking to get help, if they want to donate time or volunteer, they can get all those things done. They also have a local number if you want to just do the number real quick. It's an 810-233-9950.
It's 810-232-9950.
232. 232. All right.
9950.
All right. So if you want to go and check out how to subscribe or donate to their website. All right. So you had just graduated, which made you what, 18?
I was a young one. I was 17 when I graduated, but I was,
I was 17 when I went in the military. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So, and you decided to go help disabled people, which I find really interesting because that's like an adult move.
Well, honestly, it was maybe selfishly at the time, it was a full-time job. My dad had said either you go to school or you go to school, work full-time. I didn't have a choice.
And that's just a job you found?
That was one found, but it made sense to me. I mean, again, my mom was an MS patient, so I found myself helping there. Okay. So it just seemed like a natural transition to go to helping other people.
All right, so you worked there, and then you took one semester off, you said, so that means you went to school. All right, where did you go?
I went to U of M Flint.
Okay, and what was your major?
Communications, English minor. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. And did you do 4, 5, 6?
I did 3.5 years.
3.5, so you're smart.
I went spring and summer and just...
Oh, full year?
Yeah, I got it out of the way.
Really?
I was never a school person.
Was there anything in that 3.5 years that like really molded like your personality or gauged you into who you are and what you're doing now?
Again, I think it's just the natural tendencies of the way I grew up. I mean, we came from a family that we always had to help each other, one way or another. So I think that was mostly it. And then I found myself volunteering. I love to volunteer. So
Did you do that in high school?
Not in high school. I was, again, it was like, I worked in high school though. I started working when I was 15. I worked at Ben Franklin's in Genesee.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 15 years old. I made $2.10.
Yeah, see, back then when we were kids, the boys always did paper routes.
Oh, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I was biking it at 4
But you'd have to live in the city to do that, right?
Yeah. And we always biking it. Because you know how you say, well, yeah, it's normal that we do that. I know families that had family members that were disabled, and they ran away from that as fast as they could and get away from it because they didn't want anything to deal with. They didn't want the responsibility of it. So there's something about your personality there that formed to that, which is different from other people who have come back from it. So that's like a DNA thing from your parents. Maybe your dad's personality.
My dad was definitely always working bingo and helping out wherever he could. He still does. The man is 86 years old. He still walks every day and still gets out and helps wherever he can.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Because I can see you being like a daddy's girl for sure.
Well, yeah, I would think so, more so, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you say that like duh, but that's not always the case, right?
I look at it like my sister and my dad are like, that's my dad's little girl, and I was the middle child, and you know about the middle child.
Yeah, our job is to make sure that everybody else gets what they want, and we get put in the background. I understand that's what makes us good communicators, right? Being a middle child myself, I understand.
Yeah.
But it's like we get good at networking at early ages.
Yeah, we do. We get to play it. Like, you got to ask for that because Mom will say yes to you.
How are you? We're going to help you. What is it that you want? We're going to get you there. But what you got to do is you're going to take care of this situation, and I got your back.
Exactly. You know it.
All right. So you majored in communications in 3.5 years, which is amazing. So like you said, that makes you a smarty pants.
No, just in a hurry.
Really? I guess you would have finished on time if you wouldn't have took the semester off. Right. So same thing.
Yeah.
All right. Was there a particular group of people you want to go through college with, or is just I want to get it done?
I just wanted to get it done. Yeah. I just I'm not an excellent student, but I'm a good student, and I just didn't enjoy it. But when I found my niche in communications, it was game on.
Like, I didn't enjoy it either, and I wasn't a good student. I was not a good student. And I didn't enjoy it.
Well, I had a lot of fun in college, though, too. So
okay, define fun. Were you a social person, a very social person?
Yeah, there was a group of people that once you get into your major, you're always kind of with those people in all the classes. Okay. And so you find those similar interests. And I was one of 2 girls that was in this group of guys, and we would wait in line to get the U of M Flint got a certain amount of football tickets. So we would have to wait in line so that we were one of the first people to get them. So then we would be able to have them for the season. So we would do that, and then we would all go to the football games together. So it was a lot of fun.
Now, are you friends with any of those people now?
No, through Facebook, a couple, but that's it. And I'll see them around.
Like life happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So in any of those experiences that like put you in there, because the thing that I find interesting is that you have a heart for volunteering, and like it was almost put in there through your dad's work ethic of his expectation of you guys as kids.
Oh, I would think so.
Am I feeling that right?
Yeah, but also my faith. When you go through a Catholic school, you're always talked to about, what God wants you to do, and always remaining open to, that conversation, and you people call it, oh, it's a coincidence, or, oh yeah, that happened 3 times. And it's like, I don't look at those as coincidence. Those are signs, and you should be paying attention to those.
I agree. Now, I have to ask, because I asked everybody who went to Catholic, any ruler moments with the nuns?
No, I got called a 10-cent dish, though.
A 10-cent dish. Please explain that.
That was our principal. I don't even want to say her name, but it was out of St. Mary's. And she would come in and she would go, "You girls are just 10-cent dishes." And we're like, what does that mean?
Does that mean worthless or of little value?
I don't know what that means, and we'd go home.
It's probably good you don't know what it means, right?
I know. I think she meant like we were cheap. Like she was, honestly, I think she meant it like, we were, because we were talking to the boys, so it's like we're 10-cent dishes, we're cheap.
Oh.
Because, we were
easy to come by and all that.
Yeah, because they would have our desks all separated, and you couldn't touch another desk. And
because God forbid you.
And all the girls were on one side of the room and all the boys were on another. And if you were out in the playground and you were having a conversation with one of the boys, you were a 10-cent dish.
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because how old are you in that app?
Oh gosh, it would be grade school. You're talking like 6th grade. I don't even know what that is anymore. 12?
I'm not saying that's 11? Judgmental. I'm saying there's a chance.
Just like those kind of things. So, no.
You can just brush it off, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's so crazy.
Oh, yeah. But those were some really good times. Really good time. We had so much fun.
All right. So you graduated college. You're 21?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
21. And so what happened after that? Did you go right into a job? Did you take any time
off?
No,
because if you 1991 is when I graduated, and it was a huge recession, and there were not a whole lot of jobs.
There was not.
So I, again, started volunteering. I started volunteering at the Food Bank of Eastern Michigan and helping.
Love those guys, by the way.
Mm-hmm, I do too. And started there as like helping in their marketing. They were just a baby nonprofit at the time. And I also started working as a bartender at Chi-Chi's. And so I was trying to help make ends meet. And from there, I became their marketing manager, and then I just
food
bank. Okay. Yes, and so I stuck with them for about a year and a half, and then my whole career is pretty much centered around nonprofits.
No kidding. All right, so you did food bank for a year and a half. So food bank is a group that gets food, and then you can volunteer time, and you get food in exchange, right? Or groups get. Food to be able to distribute.
Right, so pantries can volunteer, and then it works as a credit towards their bottom line.
So this is where the churches and nonprofits get all their stuff. Like, it's a really great organization. Mm-hmm, I've been trying to get those cats on here because I just like what they do and I want to help them.
Oh, I'll
just
get
like
you connected if you can't get through somebody.
Yeah, I want to get them on here just to go, I love what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
Same with you, because, like, the crazy part was when we were doing COVID, and they're like, Isaac, where do we get food? I was like, I don't know. Because it's in your day-to-day function. How many times you're like, oh, I got to handle this.
Right.
And you don't realize you need the nonprofits, and they're like invisible because you guys are so busy doing your own thing. You don't get the chance to go, hey, how are you? Here's my card, and we're going to, that doesn't happen because you got your group, your bubble. And then outside of that, so when COVID happened, everybody needed help. And it was like, you guys came out of the woodworks, and you guys already had a preset functioning setup, which was great.
Right.
And using that, and it was amazing. You guys, you were so good. I keep telling people, I told you this already, it's a mascot. I was like, man, if you're doing distribution, you should check out All Catholic Charities, because it's like, boom, 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 here's the process.
Right.
It's like you guys have been giving out food since, I don't know, the first century or something.
It's 81 years for us, and that's how it started. I
read this book somewhere back in the day, and some guy, beard, long hair, like everybody, something or another. Something. Anyway, he said we're supposed to feed people and stuff. And
the loaves and the fishes. There we are.
Something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not a big seafood guy. But so, anyways, you graduated. So you went right to the food market or food bank, and then you were there for 2 years. That puts you at 23 to 24.
Look at you.
Well, I want this story. So because most people have an event that happens to get them into volunteering. You just kind of walked into it and were preparing for doing this because your mindset brought you there, which I think is set from your dad's work ethic. So I'm trying to just figure out how that
I think you're right.
Works.
There's when you find in the nonprofit world, people, you have to be, I don't want to say special, but you have to be willing to make some sacrifices. If you're very career minded and you want to climb the corporate ladder and
this is not it.
Yeah. It's, you're doing, my job is my job, and if anybody else needs help, you just step in. That's just what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. And you're a sponge and you got to give that out, but you got to refill too.
Right.
So, all right. So then what happened after,
So I'll just digress, and I tried to go into nursing school. I was going to kind of flip channels and go into nursing. Right. And
did you get wore out? Like some people get wore out.
No, I don't think it was that at all. It was just another way to expand.
Vein.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had already gone through my own degree, so they had an accelerated program, tried to do nursing, and I should have kept going, but I didn't for personal reasons I don't want to explain. And then they used to have a plan at Wayne State where you gave them 18 months. They paid you your whole tuition. I was accepted to that program, and I walked away, and I shouldn't have. But then you owed them 3 years after that.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, I'm going to become a nurse lawyer. And once that did not happen, I went back to the
nonprofit hold on a second. You went from nonprofit to nurse lawyer.
Yeah.
What's the process of your mind right there? Like that's very specific, right?
Right, but I was always told I'm a good arguer, so I can.
I believe that. I believe that.
It just seemed like a natural.
So that process,
bring it together.
If that's something I'm good at, then naturally I would be good at this, and that's how your mind was looking at it.
I actually wanted to go to a nursing where I could help people with were not treated well. So I wanted to be the attorney that helped the people that did not get the care they should have received.
All right, so now you're trying to be an attorney. What happened to?
Nothing. I didn't pursue either one of those, and I just stayed in the nonprofit world.
Okay, so how long was that process of thought? Right.
I took off about 1.5 years.
Okay.
And I was working in a doctor's office, trying to go to nursing school, and then when that stopped, I came back to Flint, and I had worked for the American Red Cross.
Okay.
And at that time I was down in the Detroit area. I was living in Oak Park, and then I came back to the Flint area and went back to the American Red Cross and did that. I did.
All right.
Yeah.
Hold on. Before we get in there, 'cause it sounds like we got what I call a skipper. So you got a bunch of little tweeners. Before we get in there and we get to the good stuff, we're going to take our quick break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we are going to get a couple of funny stories from our guests about things that have happened. If you have not gone out to ccsgc.org, sgc.org to check out what they're doing, please go do that. If you haven't hit spiritualwarfareunit.com to be one of our people to help other people, please hit that. We will be right back.
I'm really impressed with the teachings that Isaac has been bringing to us, as this is all based from Proverbs.
I like it because it's simple, and it doesn't matter who you are. It's very easy to understand and apply to your life.
It points out, my bad parts, and but it's showing me how to do the good parts, and I'm trying to apply that and make a better life for myself because I'm tired of where I've been.
It's impacted a lot of the guys as they continue to talk and ask questions after the meetings, as they speak to one another regarding the meeting and the messages and the topics that are being brought up, which are down-to-earth topics of situations and things that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
He takes the Bible and he breaks it down into simple terms and where you can understand. And like I said before, sometimes a lot of churches, even the Salvation Army, sometimes we start using these big words that people don't understand, like even saying someone got saved. Well, what does that mean? What does it mean when you say someone got saved? And it's accepting Jesus into your heart. So it's like words like that we use that people don't understand.
It's just very interesting how he points out, the different things of, the sin part, and then he comes back with the, how to make it better, and he just points it out. It's there. You know, I didn't know all this stuff was in there, but now that he's pointing this out, it's like, wow, you know, I guess if you really dig into the Bible, you find these things.
This is a daily moral standards that we can live by, that the teachings are coming from. And honestly, we can take verse by verse as what he's done, and pretty much he's done the hard work for us, and now laying it out so that we have an easier understanding.
There's some people who don't like to be in Bible classes, but this one seems to get their attention.
So people that are talking about breaking the rules use their fingers to speak to each other. And that's what gangs do to communicate from point A to point B. It's almost like this has been in the Bible for 2,000 years, and people feel like it's a new thing. That is unbelievable, isn't it? That things that are happening in your life today are in here from 2,000 years ago. That's very weird. All right, welcome back to the Warrior's Way. Our warrior this week is Theresa Hurley from Catholic Charities. Their website again, ccsgc.org, or phone number is 810-232-9950 if you want to go and check out what they're doing. All right, so you were just getting into the kind of tweener jobs in between college, but before we finish that up, I always ask for a couple of funny stories, and I remember you saying something about your dad, and then that's all I remember.
Well, I am going to actually skip that one. I'm going to tell you another one.
Okay.
So my family is, my dad's, my grandparents, my paternal grandparents are from Ireland.
Okay.
And my dad decided when he retired, he was going to take the whole family to Ireland. And so he bought our flights, and then his kids and stuff, and our significant others, we went. And this was before children. And we were at downtown, Killarney, and there was this beautiful church. And we're like, okay, well, we should go, right? You know, we're here. And it's really interesting because it was set up like a coliseum. And I've never seen a Catholic church like that. So just
inside the church?
Yes.
Okay.
So you're almost like you were in the bleacher section surrounding the altar. It was really something I've never experienced before in my life.
Okay.
And so we're already there, and because my mom is not able to handle stairs very well, we're at the top.
Yeah.
And so you can see things, and all of a sudden you hear a bell ring, and the priest practically ran from the back of the church to the altar. It was just the fastest
Like he was running into the ring for a fight.
It was. And if you've ever seen, here, you get the song, and it's like all four verses, and then they're up on the altar. Well, this guy was on the altar in like 10 seconds flat. And so we're all like looking at each other like, where are we?
Yeah.
What did we walk in?
Little guy comes out, let's get ready to rumble.
Like, are we sure we're in a Catholic church? I mean, are we in the right faith? And so we're already all like, kind of like, just what is happening? And this lady in front of us had this trench coat on, and all of a sudden she sneezed, and it was so loud, like everybody kind of looked our way because you're in this Coliseum, right? So it echoes. No. But when she sneezed, something flew. Like we were like, what is happening? And I'm like leaning out of what would be my pew, but more like a bleacher. And I could not stop laughing. And I look over at my sister, and now I've got my finger over my nose because I know I'm going to like howl laughing. And she starts laughing. My brother starts laughing. Our significant others are all laughing.
Because you're laughing.
Yeah, because this lady, it was her teeth that flew out of her mouth when she sneezed, and they landed like 4 steps down. So when she had to go get them, I'm leaning out, and I'm like, she did not. And she turns around and she looked at us and she put them back in, and we...
Tell me she didn't smile.
Oh my gosh.
God, don't tell me she smiled after she put them back in.
I'm telling you, it was the funniest thing.
My mind is seeing this right now, and it's just like...
Yeah, she sneezed and they were gone. And I was like, what was that? I'm looking over, and she picks them up, and oh my gosh.
Apparently they don't fix it and forget it.
I'm telling you, it was like probably a good 5-10 minutes where we could not stop laughing. Like we're all just kind of shaking. And that priest, he's got bird's eye view of everywhere.
That one got me crying. I cannot, because it reminds me of this story. So my mom used to take care of older people with dementia, right?
Okay.
She would go in and she'd be the person to get their meals together and bathe them and do all that, right? I forget whatever it's called. And so she used to take us over to this one lady's house. She was very nice. She was 80-something, and she had dementia. And kind of the same scenario. My mom had given her something to eat, and we had lunch, and she comes out, and she's like, "Where's your teeth?" And the lady's like, "I don't know." And she's like... And it's like, oh no. So my mom was like, "We have to find her teeth." And I'm like, oh God, right? Like, this is like the worst hunt, of all time. So you're looking around, right?
Why did I have to come today?
Right. And I was like, Mom, it's really great to spend quality time together. And so lo and behold, I'm sitting there going in my head through lunch, like, what did this lady eat for lunch? It's like, man, if I had bad teeth, what did I eat? So I'm starting to look for soft food, right? So I go in there. There's this huge bucket of grade A cottage cheese, right? And I was like,
You opened it.
Oh yeah.
Right
now,
there.
I need you to put together cottage cheese and dentures, okay? and know that they were open, right? So it looked
there was no spoon stuck in the middle, was there?
It looked like she went... and put it in there, so it looked like a mouth was coming out of the cottage cheese, right? And I'm like,
oh my gosh,
right? I was 10, I think, 12, something.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. I was like, "Oh, you want to come over and hang out?" I was like, No. I'm busy doing homework and studying and praying, and I wasn't doing any of those things. But I would rather have done those things. And God bless my mom and that poor lady. But
well, you were a genius to look in there. That would have been the last place.
I was like, if my teeth hurt, what would I eat? I would eat cottage cheese, right? But I tell you one thing, I don't eat.
Yeah, right.
I don't eat cottage cheese. Like,
that visual.
Right? Yeah.
Sticks with you.
And that's the part that was, because it, like, in my head, I got the slow-mo of the spit going out of her mouth while they're just projectile. Like,
oh, yeah.
I know that's not happening, but in my head, the teeth are chattering.
Chasing you?
Yeah, because it's funny.
Like a Pac-Man.
Like a Pac-Man. All right, so we were at your mid to late 20s. You're trying to decide what to do with your career. You started doing stuff, didn't do it, didn't do it, right? Nursing, lawyering, reasons to do it. All right, so you're mid to late 20s right now, and you decided to go into what nonprofit next?
I went from actually American Red Cross. I went professional. I went to Domino's for just a very short time.
And the pizza place.
Pardon me, yeah, the pizza place. Okay. And then from there I went to...
You used the word professional. It's weird. I wasn't going to go with that.
And then I actually did another short stint with Chrysler Financial.
Okay.
But then I got pregnant and I had a difficult pregnancy, so I had to leave and then made some choices made it work out that I could stay home with my kids for a little bit.
Yeah. So how long was that time for?
About 5 years, 6 years I was home. And then I started working part-time around the 5-year mark. And
were you doing volunteer work then?
Yeah, I was. I was working for the kids' schools at Holy Family, and then
What were you doing as far as volunteer work?
Helping them raise money for the school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So marketing.
Yeah. Marketing.
Yeah.
And then wherever in the classrooms, wherever they needed me, I would try to help.
So how long did you do that?
I did that for about 4 years, and then I worked for part-time for the Shelter of Flint. And then from there, because I was working part-time at Holy Family, and then I was working part-time at Shelter of Flint, I ended up getting a full-time job with the American Cancer Society.
Okay. And you made that contact through all these other contacts?
I did, actually.
Okay.
Every job I've ever received or ever gotten has been through volunteer work.
No kidding.
Every single one.
And you know the thing that I love about volunteer people is they always want to help people.
Right.
That's my favorite thing about them. Like somebody had asked, why do you do what you do? And I was like, I get to help people that help people.
Right.
To help people. And they're like, oh, win, win, win. And I'm like, yeah, but it is, right? Like if you're listening, you get to be the person with someone with good news about the fact that Catholic Charity helps them. and they do the work, and then you tell them, and they get the food, and then they're going to thank you for it. Like, how's that not a win, right?
Right. And like in this particular case, when I learned about this job, I actually went to school with one of the board members' daughters, and she's the one that recommended me. So
Now, did you get married? Not married?
I was married in there and divorced through some of that. So
all right. So that was late 20s, early 30s?
Right.
All right. So this was like late 90-ish?
Yeah, it would have been late 90s. And then I was married till 2010, and then I went on my own. And
well, that's super hard time, that 2008 through like that depression hit everybody, right?
Yeah.
All right. So how many children?
I have two.
Two? Boy and a girl?
I do. My daughter's the oldest.
All right. And they're grown now?
Yes.
All right. You said one is a water polo player?
Yes, he is for Mercyhurst in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
So he plays Division II.
And your daughter?
My daughter is in Traverse City pursuing her respiratory therapy degree through Munson.
Wow, that's a great area too.
I know, right?
Yeah, nice
So
wine
she's working
area.
hard and getting herself through school, so she's doing great.
Good for her.
Yeah.
All right, so before we jump in the 20s, we're late 20s, early 30s, and you're doing the mom.
I was a single mom for 12 years.
Okay. So you're doing the single mom thing, working at schools, helping the kids, working part-time, just making it happen.
Making it happen.
Making it happen, Captain. And then get married, get divorced at 2010?
2010.
All right, so that'd put you early 40s?
Me? No. Oh, then?
Yeah.
No, I was just 40.
Just 40. Okay. So you're kind of in this transitional part of your life.
Right.
And at that time, were you still working for Holy Family? And
Yeah, that's when I went from having to work 2 part-time jobs to finding my full-time job. So then that's when I went to the American Cancer Society.
okay, and what is it that they had you doing?
Oh, so I was there. I worked down in the Detroit area initially, and I did Relay for Life events for them. And then they're also their Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walk that they do.
Okay.
And then shortly after I started there, I ended up getting transferred up to the Flint office. So that was nice. So that saved me some time driving.
Okay.
And I was able then to do the same thing up in this community.
All right, and how long did you do that?
I worked for them for 7 years.
7 years. Okay, what was like the thing you loved about that? Like if you're going to tell somebody you want to do this, what would be the reason?
To do the relay or work for American Cancer Society?
Yeah, working for American Cancer Society.
I lost my brother to cancer.
Okay.
So for me, it was just
It's a personal passion. All right, but what is it about that? Was it because of that passion you loved it, or is there what got you in and then you really loved something?
My very first week when I started working there, my brother is a brain cancer patient, and he had a less than 1% chance of living 1 year. But the American Cancer Society, one of their medicines that they help fund through research, actually kept my brother here for 13 years.
Shut your mouth. So they're at the very cutting edge, tip to top of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of people we could help. You're gonna get some people that are gonna go, there's a cure for cancer, and people know it, and you get that kind of feeling. But I think they are on the cusp of being able to do that, but it does take a lot of research dollars to do it.
All right, perfect. That is a perfect spot to take a break. We're going to hit that when we come back. We're going to find out what Catholic Charities is doing, what you're doing now, and catch up with the end of the story. If you have not gone to spiritualwarfareunit.com, please do it now. And if you want to check out what Catholic Charities is doing, ccsgc.org. And we'll be right back.
Awesome.
I was an addict for 6 years. I was deeply into heroin and addiction. 2014, a lot of events happened for me. I had lost my sister. My dad was just diagnosed with cancer. I was just kind of in this headspace of being in a mess as it was, and then I was introduced to heroin. I kept it pretty well hidden. There in the beginning, a lot of people didn't know that I was using just because I went about my everyday life the same way anybody else would. But what they didn't know behind the scenes is I was using 10 times a day. I'm living out of what I consider a trap house at this point. There's no windows, there's no doors. There's no place to stay warm. I had no other way of making money. I was doing things that weren't okay to me. I started prostituting. I was stealing from my loved ones. I was taking my dad's cancer prescriptions, and I would take them and I would sell them. I couldn't even contact my daughter in December of that year to tell her Merry Christmas or send her gifts. And it just got to a point where I knew, like, I'm either going to get clean or I might as well start planning my own funeral. So for me, it wasn't even just that I needed to stop. My life over the course of 6 years fell apart.
So I met Sarah in 2019. We had a program I was working with law enforcement officers, and I got the call that they had somebody, so there I went to meet Sarah.
Here's just this happy-go-lucky guy just, oh my God, here's treatment. Here's what you can do. You can change your life around. I'm just kind of sitting there like, oh, okay, what did I get myself into? Like, maybe sitting in a cell by myself might have been a better idea, because at least I don't have to listen to all this.
Whenever I see somebody who's willing to go to treatment to try and help with their issue, it's something that I don't make that judgment. I always just try and provide the hope, the encouragement, and the motivation to go to treatment, and then hope that it works for them, hope they engage, hope that it's the point of life that they're in, that they're ready to make that change.
It was a huge wake-up call for me. When I'm watching all these people that I used to hang out with, including my husband, get clean before I did, and just watching their lives change so drastically and them becoming so much happier, and I just sat there in this endless abyss of a mess that I caused myself, but I didn't know how to get out of it. I didn't know how to stay clean. I didn't know how to live my life without substances because I had done it for so long.
With UCAN and our relationships we can actually get people into multiple treatment facilities. So depending on age, gender, the drug of choice, things of that nature, there's certain facilities that maybe have a little bit more of a success rate with certain populations. So we kind of talk through that and then try and place them where we feel is an optimal place to succeed.
My husband and I finally got a place together, and life has pretty much been good ever since, but like the key role of it for me was staying in contact with people.
We can't go in and drive in and grab somebody, just pull them out like they're drowning. It's a decision they have to make, and it's a commitment they have to make, and then they have to be diligent, determined, dedicated to find sobriety.
So my husband has 2 years clean, and I have 22 months clean. I will have 2 years clean on December 21st of this year. Just last month in October, we went back to court. Everything's officially terminated. She's back home with us for good.
Yeah, so UCAN is that conduit. A lot of times people don't know when to or how to or where to go to start looking for services. So we try and promote UCAN as being the starting point for people to begin the road to navigating recovery.
It is more than possible to change your life around.
So this program that we have allows law enforcement that if they have somebody that they feel could use the opportunity to try and get treatment instead of incarceration, that they would reach out and we could handle it for them.
Recovery is possible.
Do you want a food bank?
Julie Bird.
All right, welcome back to The Warrior's Way. This is our last segment. We're here with Theresa. She's our Warrior of the Week. And we were just finishing up your story of where you're working into the nonprofit. So how did you transfer from where you were, and how long was the time period, like you said, your early 40s, to Catholic Charities? So what was that?
In between there, I had tried again to go into the corporate world, and I just know it's not for me. And again, it just... I respect people that don't work, that work in the corporate world, and it's not. I mean, truly, I am just one of those people. I love working for a nonprofit. I love supporting an organization that helps other people. Every day my bucket is full when I see that, we're providing a meal to somebody, and it just makes what I do worth it.
Yeah. So how did you transfer from What was the last place we were talking about?
Well, I went from American Cancer Society to another just a regular business, Advanced Physical Therapy Center.
Yeah.
And I was their community relations manager, and I loved it, but it just wasn't me.
Yeah. And how long did you do that?
Just about 2 years, year and a half.
All right. And then, so this puts you in your early 40s.
Yeah, late 40s is where I'm at now.
Early 40s.
Late 40s too.
49 and less is early.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, and then, so this would be 2016, 2017?
I started there with 2017. And then, but again, it was just contingency. So I did it about 2 years and I left there in February of 2020 when I started at Catholic Charities.
All right. So, like when in 2020?
February. I started 3 weeks
because it hit March.
COVID.
Right before COVID. Oh my
3 weeks.
gosh, that had to be nuts.
Right, it was. So you're trying to learn a new organization, and
the world stopped.
Yes. And I didn't even get to know my coworkers, you know. So it was. But what I did learn in that time frame, I want to tell you this story because it's a really good one. Mm-hmm. I was there my very first week, and it was Valentine's week, and so we have some schools sometimes that will do things like decorate placemats for our clients who come in for a meal.
Okay.
And so there was all these Valentine placemats all over the table, and they were done by St. John's in Fenton, and they were just so cool. And it says, "God loves you, we love you," and all these little kids' handwriting and stuff, and it was just so precious. And Little Caesars had decided to bring up their semi where they can actually cook pizzas in the back.
Wow.
And for the very first time, apparently, we were invited as staff to enjoy lunch there.
Okay.
And it was, I guess, again, I'm only there 3 days. And they're like, they've never done that. Yeah. So we got to go downstairs and have lunch. And I get down there and I sit down and I'm talking to some people that I didn't know, obviously, the coworkers.
Yeah.
And these two gentlemen sit down next to me, and they were clients, and they had hats on. And here we are just talking and laughing and enjoying our meal. And I look over at these two gentlemen, and they were probably 70s, light, younger 70s. And they took their hats off and they bowed their head and they said a prayer out loud. And they said, "Thank you, Catholic Charities, for providing my meal for me again today." And I thought, shame on me. I just come down here for the first time thinking, oh, this is really cool. I didn't say thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't do any of that. And these guys...
Leave it to the old fellows to get you there, right?
And that they were... And then I heard them talking. They're like, "Yeah, I don't know what happened. It's like, it's funny. Life is funny. I was a barber and now suddenly I can't even afford my own rent."
Yeah.
So everybody's got a story.
Yeah.
And that one made me pause and realize that, geez, Theresa, don't take things for granted. Don't take things for granted.
So you're working there, COVID hits. And your job is what? Now, when I called you, I was told it's the fun department.
Fun development.
Because I was like, dude, what? Like when I have to pronounce my H's when I'm speaking, you have my full and undivided attention.
Yeah, fun.
Who came up with it
Well, it's always, it should always be fun when you're trying to help people.
Yeah, see, you say that like it's normal, but most people's experience is not, oh, I get to go to my fun department today and do fun things. It's like they have a little guy in the back and he's like, oh, that's like most people's.
Right.
And you're like, oh, the fun development. So please explain that part.
Well, my job is to share our story. And I find that, find that fun, when I can tell people that every day I can assure you that we are making a difference in this community. And I mean that because there are people that are struggling all the time that, you might have a full-time job but you might be that single mom like I was, and you have 2 kids and you just can't afford a meal.
Right.
And, you're just barely,
and your pride doesn't have to take a hit on it. There's a bunch of people in that bucket.
Right. Exactly.
Because a lot of people, I don't want to do it. Just do it. Just do it. We're not going to tell anybody. We promise.
Yeah. It's
right.
Yeah.
So you guys do all kinds of stuff and you're all over the place. So what is an event that you got coming up that people could check out in the Genesee County area?
Well, on June 14th, we are doing Feed the Community, it's going to be from noon until 2 p.m. in the parking lot of Center for Hope, which is located at 812 Root Street. And there'll be food trucks there, And there'll be other vendors, and I say vendors because we like to provide other services. So we do a lot of cooperative.
So give me an example of other vendors.
We might have the Genesee Health Department there for people who maybe need another COVID shot or their booster or something like that.
Okay.
We'll have Genesee Health Systems or HAP or other people out there who are maybe giving away like maybe a goodie bag of essential items that you might want to, might need for your house. Those are kind of the cooperations that we do because there's people out there who suddenly need health insurance or they need counseling and they don't know where to go. Well, we'll have people out there talking to them.
So you do like depressive counseling?
We do. We do everything across the gamut. So our substance use, we also do mental health. We do family. We do recovery.
Okay, so if they called this 810-232-9950 and they needed it or family number, they just give them that number, they called somebody and they hook them up with someone?
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And it's
then
no cost?
Right. Well, there is, they'll take your insurance information, but we'll work with you.
Okay.
And then the other one is, that same service is available in Shiawassee County.
Okay.
So we have counselors out there as well.
All right. So, and we're actually moving to Shiawassee County. I got some friends of mine that work out there, and we're moving out. We'll talk about that after the show.
Okay.
And but you have one of the things I find is cool. They have a Men's Warehouse, and if they have jackets that aren't selling or whatever, they donate them, and you guys give those to people who are like going to interviews and stuff.
Sure,
right?
That's called our work ready room. Yeah, and so
that is an amazing thing
great?
Because I got to watch this cat walk in who looked like my producer. With the beard and and dirty and smelly and ugly, not like my producer, and he come out and I was like, man, looked sharp, right? And that's where I was like, I got a buddy of mine that's a barber, man. I wonder if he cut the hair, right? And then you guys got like a full medical facility there too, right?
Right, there is, and that's Hamilton Healthcare is upstairs. So
that's what it was.
Yeah, so they're also a nonprofit, but they, if we work together with some of their clients need our help with clothing, like you're saying, or basic necessities, and then vice versa. If we have somebody who needs to be seen, we work with them.
Right. So you have, because this is the list that I know, right?
Okay.
You have prison jail reentry with reconnection.
Right.
You have mental health, physical health. You have medical facility. People can drop clothes. Like there was a mountain, of clothes that was like a store, and they rack them, and people just come in and get them.
Right.
Right. Hold on, I'm not done yet.
No, good.
Right?
You're doing great. I'm impressed.
I try to do my homework, right? But this is what was so impressive. It was about you guys hit most of the gamut, job training, right? And working with the state with filling out the application things and all that.
We're the one-stop housing in the community, correct?
And then the housing, right? So you guys click the gambit on all the things, and this is why, like I tell people, if you want to look at how to do something, because Catholic Charities was such a help during COVID and distribution of food, just the food section of that, and we were able to disseminate like 1 million pounds of food to sheriff's support and direction, right? We were kind of quarterbacking that.
That's awesome.
Jail. It was nuts. It was buku bonkers.
Yeah.
But we were able to do it, and it came together like that.
And in that case, that was, we
just started.
I just started, and I found myself learning very quickly. But the other thing that we also do is, you mentioned reconnections, but we also have our offender success, and that is a little bit different in that we help offenders, post-incarcerated individuals find a place to rest their head when they've left.
Yeah.
And also that goes back to the job training. And then we also have foster care and adoption. So we oversee that in the community, and we currently have, I think we're at 70 children.
Outstanding. See, this is amazing. Like I said, if you have not gone to ccsgc.org and check it out, there's a place. If you want to help, best thing for depression is help somebody else that has less.
Absolutely.
Right? Thank you, Theresa, so much for coming on. Their number again is 810-232-9950. I want to thank Catholic Charities for coming on. You guys do awesome work. I look forward to partnering again. Thank you for stopping in the Warriors Way, checking out UCAN Studios. You guys, will see you next week. Do you have a nonprofit in your area that's doing a lot of work that people should know about? feel free to contact Spiritual Warfare Unit at 810-715-9319, and we would love to have them on to see what good they're doing in the community and find out their story. Thank you so much.
Spent so much time believing the lies. I knew I wasn't meant to live this way, but my walls came down when your love shone through. Now my life will never be the same. You love me too much to let me stay this way.